So I am Tom, or Tombizz as my in-game name is. I am a Valorant commentator and I do a little bit of analyst work. You might see me on an interview every once in a while. I originally started in Counter-Strike. That was my main FPS game, but over the last couple of years I've started to really focus on Valorant. So the thing with Valorant that I think has really excited me in general is, so as I said, I come from Counter-Strike. So Counter-Strike, very, very focused on EMEA. I think NA has had its run at times as well, and you've had some good Brazilian teams, but in terms of a global esport, I feel like Valorant has really done a lot more. Like I think that you have the likes of SEA. I think Japan's another focus that I think I could maybe remember one or two teams from CS that did anything, whereas here there's so many different teams that we've got to witness on a global stage as well. So I love the fact that we're getting these individual fan bases throughout different countries, but you're also then having these global events where everyone's there. You have your LATAM teams, you have your Asian teams, you have EMEA and NA still on the block, and it's very exciting because honestly, you never know what you're going to get. Well, again, I think I can only really make comparisons to like other FPS games that I've watched where Japan maybe had a team that would be at an international event once a year. That was about the maximum we'd ever get, and it was so exciting when we got to see those teams that it was almost like something to remember. In Valorant, that's a very normal occurrence. Like we are getting these teams on the global stage quite regularly. We are seeing their fan base within their own region go absolutely crazy. Like I loved watching the stadium where there was just thousands and thousands of Japanese fans coming out to support their teams, and to have a proper global audience and then Japan be part of that, as said, like you've got the same in the likes of Korea and Brazil, it makes it so much more enjoyable because then when those teams have success, you have loads of fans backing them up along the way. I think the only negative so far, and it wouldn't necessarily be about the fans or anything like that, it's more so just that because Japan is developing new in Valorant, like there are some pros, like obviously you've got Lars, you've got Takage, you've got Crow who played in previous FPS games, but other, like if you look for example at EMEA, you look at people like Angel. Angel's been an FPS in-game leader for 10 years. You don't have many people like that from Japan, so I think the only thing is that growth is only going to go up. Like you are starting at a beginning point, but then you already have crazy arena-filled fans, you already have so much support out of Japan. I think that there's going to be massive growth, but it's just now the starting block is just a little bit behind, say, for example, NA and EMEA because they've been doing it for 10, 15, maybe even 20 years in some cases. So I think it's a positive in the sense that that growth will come. It's just that they're a little bit behind, at least initially, because you don't have like 100 professional FPS players. You have maybe 10, 15. It was a little bit of luck because Lars was someone I was kind of hoping I bumped into at the event because of all the players I was excited to see, he was definitely up there because even going back to last year, like Zeta were the team I think that everybody wanted to qualify, but they never quite did it. Like they were close, they always looked good and then kind of crumbled in those first matches. So when they made it to an event, I was like, okay, that's going to be awesome. Let's see how far they can go. So I changed my Twitter account to Laz fan account. I found him and I was like, oh, it's perfect because I was already sort of like, let's be a fan of this guy throughout the event. I've already enjoyed him in CS, so let's see how he does. And then he did really well. And then I saw him and I was like, he's a bit busy, but I've got to take a risk. I've got to go ask, and very, very friendly, exactly as expected. I think all the video team as well were lovely. So a big shout out to them because he was a busy guy. He was about to get his makeup and everything done, and well, instead he was willing to take a picture with me. I just thank you. Like, thank you for bringing not only like the Japanese culture, but also just supporting your team in the way you do. I think a lot of people sort of slowly learn about their roster and they go, oh, I like the way they play. I like the way they do this. Whereas Japanese fans have come in and gone, this is my team. I love my team. If they win, they're my team. If they lose, they're my team. And even when Zeta didn't make it, North Epsilon got exactly the same support. It wasn't like, oh, you beat my team, I won't support you. It was, you beat my team, now I support you. And I think that's such a brilliant attitude to have. I think all fans can learn from the Japanese fans. And honestly, please just keep doing what you're doing. You guys are brilliant.